at the Silverstone Grand Prix, the British Grand Prix. Ken Irons, Steve Chambers. Well, I know Barry Sheen, who's sitting here in the commentary box. You think Steve Chambers is a bit of all right, don't you, Barry?
Yeah, I think he's a very good rider. He's a young rider and he rides very well. I think it's a bit silly putting Alan Carter in this race, actually, because he's doing so well in the World Championship that everybody's going to be out to nail him. So I hope he steers clear of him.
Well, we shall see what Carter can do in just a few moments' time. It's 8 laps, a clutch start, all of them dead eager. The bikes absolutely identical. Luck of the draw, the ignition keys are pulled out of the hat before the race starts, before practice starts. And whether you get a quick bike or a slow bike depends on what happens. So off they go into the first corner, into Redgate.
Got a bit of camera trouble on the first corner, so we're not going to see it anymore.
We're not seeing an awful lot of this. Here come the leaders then. Well, a whole bunch of them. Some of the more cynical people, well, we lost, unfortunately, a camera at Redgate, so we weren't able to see them go through, but it looks as though everybody's through. Somebody in a real bit of trouble. That was a little bit of a problem there, and we shall see who the leaders are. Round they go through Starkey's Bridge.
No one is race 1 leading.
And it is the race leader, race 1, in fact, being pushed back into second place by Andy Watts. Andy Watts in the lead, race 1 in second place.
I'm just looking for Carter, I can't see it.
Well, Andy Watts, Alan Carter in something like 8th or 9th place there, round Coppice Corner, down the back straight, and this is where the difference between the bikes that are slightly quicker than the others, but there's really very little in it at all as they come hurtling down. A group of 7 riders going into the chicane for the very first time, and something's got to happen here for sure.
Oh boy.
Well, the race leader Andy Watts goes from 1st to 3rd in one fell swoop. There they go through at the end of the first lap. 7 laps to go in this Pro-Am series. Well, I think the point you made a little earlier, Barry, that everyone's going to be out to get someone like Alan Carter. Oh, and somebody nearly had his front wheel taken away from him there. And that is Andy Watts trying to go through on the inside of Neil Mackenzie, the Scottish boy. Steve Chambers from Lincolnshire, same village as Kim Barker, he's up there as well. And, well, it's still anybody's race, of course, going in halfway round the second lap. And some bravery there from Neil Mackenzie. Andy Watts, number 3. Neil, and they are absolutely elbow to elbow. And that was race 1 who tried to take the lead. He's been relegated, and race 1, number 1, in fact, regains the lead. Well, it's still a 7 or 8 man scrap.
Steve Chambers is on his way up there now, he's in 4th place.
I think this is a sort of race where you definitely want to be first or last, but not in the middle.
I'd sort of be in the pits, quite frankly, looking at this. Oh, Steve Chambers is up the front.
Steve Chambers then, number 5, takes the lead. In second place is Andy Watts, number 3. In 3rd spot, in fact, going through into second place is number 7, Graham Cannell. Well, you need your knees, your elbows, every part of your body for this one.
Need a lot of courage by the looks of it.
Well, this is where outrigger wheels would come in helpful, I think. 2 laps gone. They're on the 3rd lap of this 8-lap race. Still Steve Chambers, the man who moved through nice and neatly, but he's under a lot of pressure from Andy Watts. Andy Watts, a 21-year-old bank clerk. Steve Chambers under pressure, but hangs on to the lead. And they're bobbing and weaving there, down on the tank. Steve Chambers, number 5. Then it's Andy Watts, number 3, pulling out of the slipstream of Steve Chambers, dives through on the inside line and takes the lead.
Alan Carter's moving up now, he's into about 8th place.
Well, as it stands at the moment, any one of the first 8 or 10, in fact, could win it. Look at that group, and I remind you that this is the 3rd lap of this 8-lap race. Down the back straight, underneath the Dunlop Bridge, and into the chicane for the 3rd time, and somebody goes down. Somebody fell on braking. And out in front, it's Neil Mackenzie.
Alan Carter's up in 6th place now.
The faller there was Neil Robinson. Well, that's the younger brother of Donnie Robinson, who is Alan Carter's teammate in the Team Mitsui Yamaha squad. Perfectly all right. Went down on braking.
God, they're so closely bunched together. It's going to get interesting in a couple of laps because the tyres start getting hot then and the bikes start shaking around even more than they are now.
Steve Chambers, 19 years of age, a toolmaker from Lincolnshire, holds the lead. They're on the 4th lap. Steve Chambers, number 5, holds the lead from number 3, Andy Watts. But there's the whole pack breathing down the neck. Number 4, that's Kenny Irons. He was one of 3 riders in the Pro Series who took a tumble in the practice this morning. And amongst those 3 fallers were Alan Carter, Kenny Irons, and Roger Hurst. They all went down. And Steve Chambers now getting, well, perhaps 3 machines length lead.
The thing is, if
Kenny Irons goes through on the inside.
If you can get a break at the beginning of this, and if you can pull out a bit of a lead on the bunch are banging into each other so much, you can, if you can get a lead, get a break, you're away.
4 laps gone, halfway distance in this race. And the man we've still lost the camera on Redgate, unfortunately. This is the view from down at the old hairpin, looking up towards Hollywood, and here they come into sight, the charge of the Light Brigade. It's 5 machines with a whole bunch of them behind them. Well, I still say any one of the first 8 to 10 could win this one, Barry.
Well, the thing is, it changes so quick, doesn't it? You see somebody in 3rd place, the next lap is 8th, the next lap is leading.
Do you think this sort of racing really helps somebody's racing, or is it a breeding ground, or what's the advantage of it?
Well, it's good in that everybody's on the same bike, but I think the problem is everybody tries so hard because it's a prestigious thing to win. I know one thing, you'd never get me out there in it.
Well, Alan Carter now, number 2, is there in 3rd place. It's Chambers. There's Alan Carter now fought his way through to 3rd place. We saw Alan Carter's superb skill at the French Grand Prix in the 250cc race. And, well, I think you could perhaps put a bob or 2 on Alan Carter for this.
Well, I would say so. Alan Carter, he's only 18 years of age, but he rides very sensibly. You know, he doesn't go like a loony at the beginning. And, oh, somebody else done it, lost the front end.
And somebody goes down there, and avoiding him was Ken Irons. Well, somebody took a tumble, just got clipped by Ken Irons, but the first 8 men are there, and back now with the race leader, and out in front is Andy Watts. On the outside of his number 5, Steve Chambers. 3 laps to go then, and Alan Carter still 3rd, looking comfortable, but as we saw a moment ago, it's very easy to be the innocent victim of the bumps and bangs in this sort of competition. Andy Watts loses the lead.
Oh, Alan Carter ran the outside, I don't believe it.
So we've got Steve Chambers and Andy Watts, 5 and 3 side by side.
Carter's
and
up
that's
the front.
Alan Carter, in fact. Alan Carter in the lead. I do apologise. Alan Carter having scoot through. Sorry, Barry. Alan Carter in the lead, and it's time to say goodbye to the rest, I suppose.
Well, let's hope so. Let's hope they don't all send a punch up at the hairpin. That's the only thing you've got to be worried about.
You think there's a bit of a bullseye on the back of Alan Carter's leathers?
Well, I would say so, yeah. Let's see when they go into the chicane. You see everybody doing demon braking, and let's hope nobody loses the front end again.
And in fact, Alan Carter with a slightly slower bike loses the lead to 2 men, and the 2 men there are Andy Watts, number 3, and Steve Chambers, number 5. And we're glad to say that the rider who took the tumble at the chicane is perfectly okay on his feet now. No problems at all. The race leader, number 3, Andy Watts, 6 laps completed, 2 more laps to go. It's 3 Andy Watts, 5 Steve Chambers, and 2 Alan Carter. Well, it's a cliche to say that a blanket would cover a group, but a sort of Carter-sized blanket, I think, would cover them.
Well, honestly, I must say, after watching this, it makes our racing look like Sunday afternoon driving.
Noddy and Toiler.
Really?
Well, 1.5 laps to go, and I think you'd be a brave man to put your money on anybody. But Alan Carter, through the swervery, takes the lead, but only momentarily. He's forced wide by Andy Watts. Steve Chambers is still there in 3rd place, down the back straight. Last time we saw Steve Chambers and Andy Watts in 4th place at the moment. It's number 6, Neil Mackenzie, the young Scottish boy. Down the back straight for the 7th time though. We're starting their last lap. Alan Carter, number 2, holds the lead. Number 3, Andy Watts is in 2nd place, but this time Carter makes no mistake, and still more demon braking amongst the lower leaderboard places at the chicane. Carter, number 2, holds the lead. Under pressure again from Andy Watts. And it looks as though it's going to be a 2-horse race to the finish. Andy Watts storms through on the inside to take the lead.
You can see the bike's starting to wriggle now because the tyres are getting hot.
Well, and Alan Carter wriggled his way through into the lead. They're side by side. Carter holds the lead at the moment. Just over half a lap to go. It's Andy Watts in 2nd place, number 3. Alan Carter.
Ooh, oh,
Alan Carter came so close to losing it.
That's hot tyres that does that. He lost the front end, then the back end went.
Production tyres getting hot, as Barry said, but we saw some fine skill there from Alan Carter. A lot of inexperienced men would have thrown it away there, I think.
Really, I think it's this self-preservation act that comes in there.
So here we go. Who is it going to win now? A change. It's Andy Watts.
It should be exciting at the hairpin on the last lap.
Number 7, I think Graham Cannell is now up there. Andy Watts from Graham Cannell. We've not seen a lot of Graham Cannell in this race, but he makes his move at the right moment. Graham Cannell from the Isle of Man takes the lead. Can he hold it? No, he doesn't, because Andy Watts goes through to somebody else. And it's going to be Andy Watts to win this race. And in 2nd place, well, it was so close we didn't even see. In 2nd place was number 6, Neil Mackenzie. In 3rd spot was number 5, Steve Chambers. 4th was number 7. So it's Andy Watts, the race winner. Well, that was quite a performance, Barry.
You can say that again. It definitely is a nerve-wracking business watching this race. And I think I'll stay downstairs in the caravan next time.
Is this the sort of race where the spectators need to be paid?
I would say so. I reckon you need a Valium before you watch it.
So, a tremendous performance there. What a great ride there from Andy Watts. Andy had a tremendous debut on the at the British Grand Prix at Silverstone. And a chance now to see Alan Carter's excursion onto the grass track. Barry, perhaps you'd like to talk us through this.
I think it's the front end that goes first. Now, if you watch carefully the front wheel, and no, it's the back end started to go, then the front's going, and it's the back going again, then the front going, and that's where it got really nasty, because it could have bunged him over the handlebars, and he'd have got swiftly run over by, what's his name, Andy Watts.
Well,
I would say it's a heart-in-the-mouth job, that was. Depends where he's going to get his trousers cleaned now.
A change of leathers job there. Well, we saw Alan Carter survive miraculously. Barry, of course, you're going to be out in the next race we see here on World of Sport. After seeing that, what are your thoughts?
What are my thoughts? I wonder why I race motorbikes at the moment. No, I'm looking forward to racing. It'd be nice to get out and race in England again, and I'll just do as good as I can.
Well, we hope you do, and there on the winner's line, is the race winner, Andy Watts. So with Andy Watts getting the winner's garland from Charlie Williams at TT Rally.